Hey guys, so in just a minute, Lee Sandt of Hooked on Bass is stopping by to talk about the most famous video right now in all of fishing. Over 4 million views right now, and it's because he dove into water, 50-degree temperature, to make sure he landed that fish. Let's check it out. So I'll tell you what, guys. Every day we say you should always be recording with YOLOtek, and proof positive of that is this man right here. Say hey, Lee.
Hey, how are you, Christian?
Doing just fine. What's going on in your world? Kind of bored, nothing to do?
Just getting a lot of calls and emails about the video, and so at the time I just thought I was jumping in for a fish, but it's been a lot more than that as of recent. It's kind of taken off a little bit.
It is pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're involved in the RV video down on Sam Rayburn, and you know, it's just, again, it's so cool that we made products just so that people can capture that, you know, that personal best or those crazy times on the water, but you just never know what's going to happen, huh? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I bought the YOLOtek. I bought that, man, a little under a month ago. And I guarantee I wouldn't have got the shot without it. And after I came out of the water, I was looking at that camera to see that little red light blinking. I was like, "Dear God, please let the light, please let it be on."
Well, let's take a step back. And that morning, so you woke up. Were you planning on going fishing that day? Tell us a little bit about your day.
Yeah. I was planning on going fishing, and I was up, you know, butt crack of dawn, and I had been fishing around, and the fish were like in a transition, so there's a lot of different things going on. And
and where are you located? Tell us where you at, where lake you're on.
Yeah, so I live in Brazelton, Georgia, and my home lake is Lake Lanier. And it's it's a clear water lake. It's in like Flower Branch. That's home of the Falcons, so everybody usually recognizes Flower Branch. We're like an hour north of Atlanta. But yeah, so it was it was March 20th. I've just gone back and looked at the date since all this has happened, but and water temp was like 50 to 52 degrees. So it was pretty gnarly. And so all morning I've been fishing slow. So if you're, for the people that are familiar with fishing, I was fishing like, a tube and a worm and catching fish. And I only say that because the pattern changed. As the day was going on, it changed, and I started catching fish on a spinnerbait. Oddly enough, that's my favorite way, to catch fish. And they were in deep in this grass, and I was catching largemouth. If anybody that's familiar with Lake Lanier, you're catching spotted bass after spotted bass. It's one of the biggest, one of the best spotted bass fisheries, I think in the country.
Wow!
But I started catching these largemouth. They were in the grass, and they're kind of like pre-spawn and stuff. And so, and I posted this video earlier about that I had caught this largemouth, and I set the hook, and I actually got this entire hook set from beginning to end. I had the camera running, and I got it, and I swung the fish on the boat. Nice. It was about 4-pound bass. Everything was good. And so I moved on to another spot identical to the other spot. And so
that 4-pounder, you both flipped him, and you did that just before the crazy video happened.
Yeah, and it wasn't the same spot. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's the same spot," blah 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 blah, and they're like, "Oh, it's fake." And I'm like, "Look at the video again, and you can see a difference between that spot and the other spot." But it was a pattern. So it was the backs of these pockets, and it was like grass, and you can definitely tell the difference. So anyway, I go to the other spot, and I oddly enough just got the new GoPro where it's voice command.
Right.
Because I didn't have it running. I didn't have the GoPro running. And as soon as this fish bit, I said, GoPro, start recording. So then the GoPro, so that's why you see the video. It comes in just a tad late.
All right, so hold on. We'll go ahead and put up the video now. So here you are. Just boat flipped a 4-pounder, probably stretched your line a bit.
Yeah.
And now it's about ready to, so kind of walk us through what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh my God, it's a big largemouth. Fish is kind of, getting close. Now this one started skiing in a little bit. And I'm like, oh man, I'm just going to flip this dude. I flipped the last one.
Sure. What could go wrong?
Yeah, it was 10-pound test. So everybody's roasting me on the internet, and I get it. But it's just fun fishing. Like I cared, but I didn't care. Obviously, I cared more than I thought about losing.
Apparently, deep within your core, because let's watch a little bit more.
Yep. So
now here it is. He's about the largemouth. How big is this one, you think?
It's not even a real big. It's 3.5 pounds. It was smaller than the other one.
It's got a big mouth for a 3.5 pounder, but here it comes.
It was a little bit skinny.
And right now is the time. The line just broke.
Yeah.
So now what's going through your head, you think?
So the line breaks, and I'm like, oh crap! And like for a split second, this fish did not move. Like he just sat there, and I glued in on the spinnerbait. I use these spinnerbaits that are from this area, spot sticker spinnerbaits. And I was like, man, that was the only one I had. And anybody who fishes, like when you're catching them and you only have that one particular size
lure
and color, you can't lose that color. So I'm looking at the spinnerbait. I got to get my spinnerbait back. And I want to dive in and maybe just grab them by the mouth or something.
So watch your feet. Now, I'm not sure if you've broken it down. I can tell you, Team YOLOtek has watched this video about 200 times. Matter of fact, our guys, I'm like, get back to work. Yeah. Yes, you can watch it tonight. Yeah. Now watch your feet right here. You ready?
Yeah.
What's so interesting, and this is to your core. You can't, you can't teach your kids this. I know you said you have a 4-year-old, Charlie?
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old, yeah.
Like you can't teach this. I got a 12-year-old Dakota. I mean, you cannot teach this. Watch your feet right in the next split second. Did you see how you immediately jumped your feet back? Yeah. Your eyes now are looking straight at the fish, who should be darting right under the boat and be gone.
Yeah, yeah.
But the lure's still in his mouth, so the fish's reaction is going to be, I need to spit this out. So he's actually going to come to the surface. But at this moment, you're just thinking lure, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Now watch this. Now you're down on a knee, almost on both of them. The fish is definitely deep underwater.
Yeah, and the rod, I guess I threw the rod.
You threw the rod. Get that out of there.
It's falling down right there, yeah.
Okay. It's only a $500 reel and $600 rod.
Yeah.
But we got a $20 lure we got to save.
Yeah.
So now the next moment, this really confused my guys. They were thinking, is he going to go down to a push-up and swoop and try to grab that fish before he darts under the boat? Or is he getting ready to do a Superman dive?
Yeah, so this, I will say, I don't know. I went down with so much like force.
Yeah.
I think I was gonna just reach over and grab it, but at a certain point, half my body was over the side, and I was like, well, I'm just going in. Like, it's just happening.
But you can see now the fish is completely submerged.
Yeah.
But in the next frame, and this is hard to stutter stop, but watch. So now let's just back it up a little bit. It's really hard to stop. Break. Now watch that. Now the fish is starting to come to the surface. That largemouth wants to get that thing out of his mouth. And right now, you've made the determination. We're almost past the point of return right here.
Yeah, so right now I'm a little bit halfway. And when I reached out with my hands, I'm not a tall guy. So I reached out with my hands. And now that I'm looking back at this, I am looking at that fish, and anybody who's an angler and stuff, you absolutely have to wear polarized glasses, because a fish goes under the water like 2 or 3 inches,
of course,
and you lose track. And so I've always worn like Costas, and I kind of saw it the whole time. Like I saw the lure, I saw everything, and I saw his mouth open. I think he was like still doing the shake thing, didn't realize that the line broke.
In the next, he does not know. You're absolutely right. That fish does not know the line broke. He's coming up. He just wants to get rid of that dang thing.
Yeah.
So watch the next frame. Look at that.
Yeah.
This is where Lee turns from Lee to Aquaman.
Yep. Yeah, because at this point, I'm like, I'm going to grab it and look at the fish. See how he did he shook, and it put his head back out of the water. And with my right hand, I remember I put my hand literally right in his mouth. I lipped it from the very beginning. And then I pinned it against my face. You can't see that. But I pinned it against my face, and I knew because I immediately had a scratch on my face. Like later on, I got in the car. Yeah. So I guess his fin got me in the face.
So we've got an inside bet in here. Was half our guys say you must have played baseball because you got good hands to get right into his mouth.
I didn't play baseball, but my hand-eye coordination is pretty good. Toss the football.
If you look at that, we'll zoom in on this.
Yeah.
So your left hand is in the mouth, right?
My right hand.
What's that?
My right hand's in his mouth.
Right hand's right in the mouth right now. We'll try to stutter stop this again. Look at that.
Yeah.
So right now, there is no doubt you're past the point of no return. The majority of your body is out over the boat. And now it's mono Lee versus Big Bass.
Yeah, I realized that, and I've watched this a million times too, but I was thinking about my poles being there, and I tried to kick my legs up. I was because I was thinking like, oh man, I got to get my legs up because I don't want to catch a hook in the quad or something on the way over, or take all my poles down with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you see my legs.
Your feet are way up now. All right.
Oh yeah, and they go up even more, I think.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Full sword. Now, has the fish slapped you with his tail already? Was that already earlier?
When I just think that when I grabbed him, I took my left hand and put it on the outside of the fish and put to hold it tight.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to stay pinned instead of lagging behind me and shake and lose it and stuff. So I tried to hold it, and so I go into the water. I didn't let go of that fish until I knew I had a good grip and I was starting to come up.
So here we go. Oh, we're deep now.
Yeah.
You do a heck of a swan dive, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, I feel that's Michael Phelps-esque.
You should.
Yeah.
Pulling the feet back, make sure you don't drag across everything and pull the poles in.
Yep.
And there we go, man. Now what's cool here, so now what are you thinking?
Get my hat.
You get my I got the fish. Of course, I think most of us are thinking, oh my God, I got a fish. But a true angler wants to make sure he gets the hat, and you can't lose the glasses. Yeah.
So the glasses are still, I wear one of those little lanyard things. I don't know what you call them, but I wear one of those things. So because I've lost a lot of sunglasses in my day, and that for sure. Because I wasn't thinking about. Everybody asked about my phone. My phone was right there by the steering wheel. You can see it. It's on a little magnetic mount. So the phone's right there behind the steering wheel. So it's sitting there chilling.
Phone is good.
And then as I'm getting up, I'm like, as I'm getting up, I'm thinking dear God, I hope that video is on. I hope that the GoPro heard me say record.
So here, now the hat's in the boat. Hat's good. Yeah. Now let's get the fish in the boat. Yeah. Now I can tell you.
You see that?
So now the adrenaline. You've just been in 52 degree water.
Yeah.
The adrenaline's pumping. Got the fish. Now you had mentioned to me, was there somebody near you that you were thinking maybe they saw this?
Yeah, so somebody near me started yelling. You can hear them go woo, they're yelling in the background. And I guess they saw it, and I don't know where the boat was, or I didn't, I was just all, enamored with everything that was going on. So I didn't really, I think I looked up for a second, but I couldn't tell you where they are or where they went.
And
they definitely didn't check on me.
So here we go.
Did you see that? What just happened?
I think that's pretty much sums it up right there. What just happened? All this transpires in about 3.5 seconds. And I'll tell you what, it was an amazing. We get so many comments that you pulled yourself out of the water soaking wet on the front of your boat. I'd say about 99.9% of people are going to the back of the boat to get out.
Yeah.
So you must be you're working out then, man.
I do work out. I guess that's an advantage. And I think about it. I've done that before, but here's the thing. It was motivating, probably a lot more when you jump into cold water. It's definitely. I wouldn't tell the kids at home to try this because it takes everything out of you. So it wasn't the smartest thing in the world to do, and it was kind of dangerous. But it was cold, man. I mean, I had an instant headache. So I wanted to get in as fast as I could, and I was close right there. I did have my talon down, which is awesome because
that is good.
When you push off, I've had this happen before where I had my kid fell in and I dove in to get him, and the boat was like 20 feet away when I turned back around, and so it was summertime, thankfully. But the talon was down, so the boat didn't take off.
That's a great point. We didn't even realize when you were diving in, that boat's not going anywhere. So thank goodness for talon locking you down.
Yeah.
All right, and then what happens?
So I'm like, I think I was like, man, I got my lure back and everything. Like, that is so awesome. And it's like stuck in my hand right here.
It's stuck in your hand. And then in true Aquaman fashion, with a hook in your hand, you just go, boom, and it just falls off. That was amazing. There's so many amazing parts of this video. That's just another one that will add to the lore of this video.
Yeah.
And then it just really, it looks like everything just sits in and the elation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's go. I'll do anything to get a fish in the boat. Whoa.
Now, that scream seems to be muted by the 50-degree temperature.
I've had so many people. So look at the screen right here. The best thing I saw, one of the best jokes is somebody said my bangs, like my hair. Somebody was like, scan the barcode of his hair for 10% off on your next bass fishing product or something, and I about died. I mean, the internet never loses with stuff like this. It's amazing.
Everybody notices all those details. That's what's kind of cool when something goes viral like this. You really get to learn a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then everybody becomes an expert on telling you what you did wrong, which is kind of funny because, the one thing we always say with YOLOtek products, people say there's a lot of liars in fishing. YOLOtek products are not for liars because it shows everything.
Yeah, no, and it's so cool because I do think back, and I've used GoPro for a while, but the YOLOtek, I was like, as soon as I learned of it, I was like, dude, I got to have this thing right away. And I guarantee you, what I usually do is I have a mount on the dash, and the reason
on the
why
windscreen.
Yeah, it would have been right above where my steering wheel is on that, like on the other side. So, and it's cool. It's a good shot. You would have seen the fish. You would have seen me dive, but you would have missed everything because you wouldn't have seen me swim. You wouldn't have seen me go out of the water. You wouldn't see me get my hat. I love this angle because it truly shows everything. And I know the popular YouTube channels are first-person shooter type angles where
that chesty or the hat mount.
Yeah, and all that is cool. And for me personally, when I'm watching, I want to see everything. So the GoPros are good, and I think they have decent audio. And now with this new mount that you're introducing and stuff, I think people will be able to have better audio a little bit longer and stuff like that. The audio picked up pretty good, but I even thought to myself, like, I want the audio to be even better. So. But I love the product. I mean, the only reason that I was able to get it, my GoPro would have been dead by now, guaranteed. You know what I mean? So it charges all day, and it captures that angle. I love that it was in the back of the boat. I know you can do it in the front of the boat too, but I personally love it to be in the back of the boat because you don't miss a thing.
Well, it's such an honor for everybody on Team YOLOtek. We did this so that we could go fishing and record our stuff. Because that's the shot, and a lot of people refer to this in the back of the boat as the cameraman angle, and that is true because it absolutely wide opens. And if you're recording at some higher resolutions like 1080 like you did, or 2.7K or 4K, you can zoom way in. So there's a lot of really cool editing that you can do. But what we tell the average person is, don't worry about editing, just film that stuff, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when an RV is going to just back into a lake. You don't know when the Aquaman within you is going to come out and jump in to catch a fish. So where have you been seeing your video now? This video.
What's that now?
Where have you been seeing this video now that?
Okay, so it was on Inside Edition last night. Somebody texted me before this and said it was on MSN. It's all over Facebook. I mean, just all over Facebook. The last I checked before doing this with you, it was at 4.2 million views. That's on just one share. There's other shares that have 1 million and 1.5 million, but there's one in particular that everybody's talking about, and it's got 4.2 million shares. A funny story, my wife's cousin is in Abu Dhabi right now, and he saw the video, or somebody was talking about the video. He was like, hey, what are you guys looking at? And he saw the video, but he didn't recognize that it was me. And we see each other all the time, but my hair doesn't usually look like that. So he was like thinking to himself, man, that's something Lee would do. And then his wife later on she showed him the video, and she goes, yeah, I saw that here. And he told her, is like, hey, that's something Lee would do. And she goes, that is Lee. And he was like, no way. And so he didn't even realize it. And actually, a lot of people have seen this, and they don't realize, like personal friends of mine, they don't realize that this is me doing it. They're sending and tagging it and sending it to me because they know how much I like to fish. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, Lee, this is going to be you next time. I'm like, that is me. Like, what? So it's been pretty funny.
It's really cool how stuff like that can just be shared around the world. There's some, kind of some ugly stuff that happens out in the world, but what's really cool is when you're able to share a moment like this, because how many times, I can't even tell you, I personally spoke at the Bassmaster Classic, Major League Fishing events, FLW events, all the tournaments, and we've just met thousands of people that have said, I don't have my personal best. Actually, Gary Klein does not have his personal best now was 13.8, and he does not have that video being caught. And that's kind of why we did it. But then now we have customers, every day we get emails and texts from customers that say, I was out on my boat with my 3, 4, 5-year-old, 8-year-old, first time they ever caught a fish on video, first time that I caught my personal best on video. There's so many cool moments that other people don't think about that are special to you. This one, of course, connects with a lot of people, but there's so many special moments out on the water. You always need to be recording. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's like, this is not the first dumb thing I've done.
Now, you know what? I wouldn't call that dumb thing at all. That was to dive into 50-degree water has really inspired people to do whatever it takes to get a fish in the boat.
Yeah. Or use their net.
Or
have their net out.
Where is your net? Do you have a net?
So in the Phoenix, there's a cool compartment, and it slides up underneath the middle seat. And it's great for storage, but what happens is you get to your spot and stuff like that, and you start fishing, and because it's stowed away so nicely, you don't think. So I've lost some fish going after that net, so I tend not to do it. But, ironically, me and you have talked about this, but I went out since then, and I have this footage also, and the other day I was kind of feeling it, and you're kind of like dialed in, and I threw out and casted, and it was a topwater lure. I let it sit, and I was recording the whole time. I went and got my net out. I pulled it out, extended it, set it up, and looked at the camera, made sure the red light was blinking, made sure it was recording, and then started reeling, and boom, got nailed right away. So it was pretty cool because I can capture that kind of stuff, and everybody saw me. Now I'm gonna play off this video. I'm like, hey guys, I got my net out. Hope you enjoyed. Like, you know what I mean? I was pretty dialed in. It was pretty cool.
That is pretty funny. So tell everybody where they can go watch your viral video. Tell us your YouTube channel. I know you got stuff, but we want everybody to immediately go to Lee's YouTube channel and subscribe and comment.
Yeah. So the YouTube channel is Hooked on Bassin. So it's HOOK''D, no E, just the D, on Bassin, BASSIN, and it's just Bassin with no G. So Hooked on Bassin. I have a website, and it's the same thing, hookedonbassin.com, and Instagram, same thing, Hooked on Bassin. Yeah, go check it out. And I'm posting a lot of good stuff, and I'm going to keep it coming, especially after this. I'll be recording.
Now the pressure's on, man.
All my memory cards are going to be like 512. Like I'm not messing around. I don't want to miss anything now.
So there is a video on our website. The feature that's built into that, and almost every GoPro, VIRB, and other action camera, is called looping. And what's really cool with looping is you don't have to worry about filling up that SD card. You can, once you set looping to 5-minute looping, for most bass guys like 5-minute looping, musky guys like 20-minute looping because they have a much longer fight. But once you have looping set up, you hit record, and you can record the entire day. If it takes you 5 hours to catch a fish that you need to jump in the water for, as soon as all that happens, you hit the shutter button, or in your case, use the voice command and say stop recording, and it'll save just the last 5 minutes. So then you don't have to worry about filling up the SD card, and then editing is much simpler.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. I have to check that out. So I got to go with the black one with that. Yeah.
Well, Lee, I can't even tell you how happy we were to be part of that adventure, man.
Yeah, man, it was awesome, and I appreciate it. It's an awesome product, and man, I'm glad I had it because it captured it all. I had the GoPro running. That's an end of the day shot. That's what people don't understand. If you go and you use your GoPro, and there's so many things that you have to do to keep that GoPro running all day, depending on which model you have, or if you just have it on your chest. But if you have it in the back, the one thing you don't have to worry about, and these new GoPros have they have a battery inside. So once you're done, you're done. So you have it on the back, and you're going to record all day. Have no problem with that. Just get a decent memory card. You can do the looping thing like you were saying, and then if it's voice activated, you're set. So all that technology made that happen, which is so cool. None of that would happen, if I was doing it the old school way and stuff. So, I mean, it's pretty cool that I picked that up 3 weeks before. So I love it.
All right, guys, head over to Hooked on Bassin. We'll have links down below so you can click on that, subscribe to their channel, check out all the other videos, and stay tuned for more action. And don't forget, guys, you only live once, so always be recording with YOLOtek.
Yeah,
thanks, Lee.
Absolutely.